Well, hello, folks. It's wee Paddy from across the shock, and a wee sharpening type video. Just talk about things, what's going to happen. Um, I've nothing really planned because last night I done a 55-minute video on sharpening and on a new blade that I'm going to use as my last year, if you remember in the channel, I used this wee Ganzo as my beater knife for the year to see how it would hold up, and it held up absolutely perfectly. So I'm retiring it this year, as I've said before. It done a year, it got battered, it got sharpened and everything. There's not a bit of blade wobble in it, and for $10 I just think that's amazing. So I'm going to put a better edge on this. And last night I spent as I say, it was about 55 minutes I think I videoed for, and realized that my phone had ran out after 35 minutes. And I have put, this is a knife I bought in a what would you call it in America, like a pawn shop type place, but it was more like second-hand antique sort of a place. And I went in and I asked a fella, had he got any pen knives? And this was the one he brought out. It was absolutely terrible looking. It was bogging, so I cleaned it up a bit, but the edges on it, the edge bevels on it were absolutely horrendous. So I spent all that time last night cleaning the bevels all up, making it into the fact that it's now I wouldn't say it was a no-name steel. I went through all this last night. I'm doing it again now, but it was a no-name steel. It's a no-name knife. It's a really heavy knife. It's brass and wood. It's like the old American classic, the Buck 110. I suppose everything stemmed from that, but I gave it a real good go last night, and I was really disappointed when I found out that the video was gone. So, it's not you. It's maybe not the best in the world, but that's more to do with the steel than my sharpening equipment, because it's not really going through that. No, it wasn't a great knife, to be honest, but I've put an edge on it. That I know that's telephone paper. I'm going to go to this just to let you see it is sharp enough, and this will do me as my beater knife this year. I hope. So what I want to do is, that really didn't show, the edge is not that bad, to be honest, but it's not a bad wee knife. What did I get? Last night it was lovely. It was just right the way down the edge. It's a fine, it's telephone paper, so it is a half decent edge. I would say it's probably a badly heat treated 420. That's all I can think of. But as a beater knife, it'll do rightly. I think this cost me £5, £4, $5. So I'll put that there out of the way. Now, this bit I'm going to show you is, I remember the last time I done an update on my sharpening system that I keep by my seat. I've now upgraded into this pouch. It's not that long to spring, and I want to do some of my reviews outside. So I'll go and have a cup of tea in the woods, and I'll maybe just review a knife while I'm there. So everything I need to review, like I've my measuring stuff in the front here, and then inside I have kitted this out with all my diamond sharpening stuff and screwdrivers, everything I need to sharpen a knife. I've got ceramic stones in the back. I've got a little leather strop. So this is what I'm going to be using this year to do my outside reviews, if you like, and so I can sharpen them. If I've been using them, I can sharpen them while I'm there. And sometimes I'll maybe take 2 or 3 knives down and just sit and sharpen them while I'm having a cup of tea in the woods, which is lovely. But last night I used this boyo here, which is an Amtech, and it's 120 and a 220 grit, I think it was. And I'll have to say, by goodness, it didn't have to remove some steel off that there. I really had to use it. That was so bad. And I got that for about £3, so really worth it. I got it on Amazon, so it was really worth it. I had invested with I think the kids had got me this. I'd invested in the DMT stone, and that's what I'm going to use today, just to level the edges of this. The bevel on this are just not great. They're different on each side. This was the beater, and I just put a wee edge on it at the end of the year, and I just want to bring this bevel back a wee bit. So I just thought I'd do that and have a wee chat while I was doing it. Nothing more fancy than that. Oh, there we go. Now, all I use is I have water with the tiniest wee drop of washing up liquid in it. And I just give, this is the fine, extra fine stone. So this is a 600 grit, and then it's 1,000 to 1,200 grit on the other side, which I find is fine for just, if I just want to bring a wee edge back that's got a wee bit maybe out of shape. I hope you can see that there. On one side, it's there's a nice, this other side, the bevel has got very small, so I'm just going to level it out a wee bit, and then and these you don't put any pressure at all. It's just let the weight of your hand and the knife just do it, and you'd be amazed how much steel these DMT stones. I honestly, I just love them. It's nice to get to the sink and get the big stones out and get them water, but if you haven't got the time to do that, these are just amazing. I sit in my chair at night time and I would use them, and I can get, I'm just by eye, because they're not huge bevels in this. I just wanted to get them better lined up. So what have you been up to? Have you done anything exciting over the weekend? This is about as exciting as I got. I couldn't believe last night I'd done that video all the way through. I'm sure you've all had that experience, or the other thing I've done is done them and then I lose them on the interweb somewhere. When I try to upload them onto the computer, I keep making mistakes, but oh, last night I put so much work into it because it was such a soft style steel in that. But I mean, that's what, if you go back a few years, people didn't have all these fancy steels, so you made do with what you had. And even then, you know, would have had to make do with what they had. They didn't have the money to go and buy the fancy steels. So I'm gonna let that be my work knife and let that do the challenges I've got, and then see if I can keep bringing it back to a sharp edge again. A work knife does not have to slice telephone directory paper. A work knife, to me, now this is just to me, it just has to be a knife that slices, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't have to do, I keep clearing this off because you'd be amazed how much steel gets in there, and that's what the water for, is to help move it about, and the little holes just help the steel from clogging up. And it's just a little bit of water. Sometimes I'll just sit and do a wee bit of spit on my fingers and put it on it. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? But there we go. Sometimes that's just what I am. So, and it's really, compared to other stones, these diamond ones, yes, they probably remove, in fact, they will remove more steel than just normal ones, because they're more aggressive. But I find that fine when it says 600, but you know, it's just great. I don't, unless the steel's as bad as that was, I don't need to go any lower than that. You know, I never get a knife that dull. Now, to me that's lovely. All that's done is give me a little bit of a better bevel on that side. And now what I'm going to do is use my marker, and then I just want to make sure it's alright getting the bevel, but I want to make sure that I get to the edge of it, because that's the important bit. Which side did I put that on? Oh, that side there, plunker. That's the way we do it, and that's taken all the black marker off it. So we've got to the edge on that side, and I'll do the same on this side. And all I'm going to do is find that edge again on this side. And if you look, after a couple of wee strokes, a wee bit down there, but nothing much. So, and what that is, that's just telling me I've got to the edge, I've got the apex, so that means that my knife, in reality, when I take it off this, is going to be sharp because I've got down to that point. You know, it's a point we have to get down to. And really, unless you're very, very good by eye, sometimes I would actually get the wee magnifying glass out just to make sure that I've got right down to the apex. Because sometimes you look as if you had, and it looks like you've taken all the marker off, and then you look, or you go to cut, and it's just not cutting right. And you get the magnifying glass out, and you can see where the burr has not been, it's on one side, and you haven't, sort of, this is just cleaning the burr up on either side here, so that when I move on to my next stone, I haven't got a sort of any burrs on the edge of the knife, hopefully. This is the way I do it. Other people will do it different ways, and that's the whole joy of this hobby, is the different ways. Now, I hope you can see that. I mean, the scratches and scrapes all over this wee knife. It was it got a real battering last year. I'll get a fresh bit of paper here. No, that's not. I'm going to have to do a bit more. Now, sorry, sometimes it doesn't just go to the plans you want. So, you just keep going. This wee pack here, I have to say, it was nice doing it, nice building it all up, because it took me a while to get all the wee bits and pieces that I wanted. But I have everything. There's nothing that I need now. It was nice having the wee drawer by my chair, but if I wanted to sharpen, say, out the back room when I was doing videos, I had to take the drawer out and bring the drawer in and get things out of the drawer because you couldn't see everything. It was all sort of stuffed in it. With this, I can see exactly where everything is. I haven't overstuffed it. There's nothing there that I don't need, if that makes any sense. But everything that I do, now, let's have a wait. Oh, that's better. That's getting better now. There we are. Telephone paper, you can do it really fast, but I tend to do it slow because I can see where, if I've got any wee hang-ups, you see there, I've obviously got a wee hang-up there in the middle of the blade. So it just means that when I'm doing this, when I'm doing the grinding on here, I can spend a bit of time in that wee middle bit. I know there's a wee bit there that just hasn't, and it's probably just the tiniest wee burr, but it can cause your whole blade to not cut. It's not good for a knife. And I'm sure there's people out there who sharpen with these. If they've got any better ideas or they can teach me something, please do. I'm really open to, I am the novice, so I'm really open to any sort of advice. Now you can see that wee bit. Oh, I was going to say you can see that wee bit, and then another wee bit came. Now that's nice. That's gone through paper. That's 600 grit. You know, that's not. So we'll call that good. We'll give this a nice wipe off. I like to dry them off and get all the steel out from down in between the wee holes. Doesn't take much. And then over to this side, which is the 1000. And to be honest with you, this is this smooth. When I first got this, I didn't think it was doing anything because you couldn't feel it at all. But it does. And this is where you don't want to push. You know, you just let the diamonds do the work, because the more you push, the more pressure you put on. You actually, if you push, you lift the diamonds off the top of it, which is going against everything you want to do. So it's just no weight other than just your hand sitting on the knife. And it was especially so, I learned last night with the 200 grit. My goodness, you didn't need to push at all, and it was hawking the metal off, I have to say. I couldn't believe how rough the surface was, and then coming back up through the grits again. But very enjoyable. I do enjoy it. I could sit and do this for hours. I find it a wee bit difficult to talk when I'm doing it, although you wouldn't think so at the minute. I'm waffling a lot of nonsense, but the channel, I don't know, I'm up to 700 odd subs. I just find, honestly, you are just amazing. Thank you so much again, and I keep saying it. You are an amazing bunch of people. The comments I get down below are just so encouraging. I very rarely get anybody. In fact, I can't remember the last time somebody was rude. There's very rarely. I love the fact that I don't swear and I don't shout and don't do all that. So it's lovely that to be honest, when I'm doing a knife review, I'm not looking for all the bad stuffs. If I can find something that's wrong with a knife that I can fix, that's okay. I'll do that rather than send the knife back. Especially when I'm buying budget knives. I mean, you can go out there and you can find a fault with everything in life, but you know, you have to take price into consideration. If you're sitting watching videos where somebody's got a $500 knife and you know they can't find much wrong with it, well, that's because it's a $500 knife. You know, compared to what I would use, that's just, you know, gone out of the stratosphere. But when you've got a $20 knife and it maybe needs a bit of a sharpening, it needs tightened up, it needs a bit of oil, you know, you need to just do tiny little things that any knife lover should be able to do. And this sharpening is something I am so glad I learned to do. Again, I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting there, but I'm enjoying it, and that's, to me, that's, rather than getting there, just enjoying it is the best part of it. So, no, that was, see, there you are. You can go one side of paper and that'll cut, and you go the other side and it won't. But there's not much there to stop that now. Right, I'll give it another couple of strokes and then I'll show you my favourite tool for sharpening that I have found this year. And if you haven't got one, this is one thing that I will highly recommend to you, because I would say most of this year since I got it, I haven't had to use these. I've just used it at the end of every day if I've, you know, had a knife. Unless it has had, you know, an awful lot of work, it's the Fallkniven CC4. Now, not the DC4, it's the CC4. And it is just an amazing piece of kit to me. It really is. It's the best part of my kit. And we're getting near the stage where I can take it down to it. To be honest with you, I would sit a bit longer. This is not as sharp as I would want it to be. No, it's not. I'm going to have to do a wee bit more. See, you try to rush when you're on video, or I do. I'll speak as me. I do. And you can hear how silent that is. You'd swear there was nothing happening, but the thing is, when I get water on the blade and I don't dry it off, that tugs the paper as well. Now, let's see how we're doing. That's better. That's better. So, that's that. I'll dry this off. Now, I'll be honest, if I was doing this for proper, I wouldn't have stopped there. I would have got that much sharper, but you don't want to be sitting there all night. This is just and this will just show you what you can do if you just want to quickly go through it. This is DC4. They're both ceramic sides on it, but this one is very much like do you know the Spyderco Sharpmaker, the white sticks? It's very much along the end, although I think it's smoother than the ones you get, just the normal ones. I think there's an ultrafine one they do, I think is finer than this, but to be honest, you can use either side. This is quite smooth as well, but I just tend to finish off with this side. I'll just put this away. With the white side, and it's the hard ceramic, and it is just amazing what this wee thing can do to any knife. And this is what I sit in my lap at night time and get my EDC for the day out. And if it does need this, if it needs a bit more than a strop, this is all I found that I need to do. Sorry, I'm getting out of camera there. This is all I need to do. And you can see by the stone itself, it removes metal all right. Just slice my finger, Pratt. Not paying attention. So this will just, I really have cut my finger. Pratt. Oh, I am a dingbat. It'll do. I'll not bleed to death until we get this done. So if I don't see you tomorrow or for the next couple of days, you know I've bled to death. On camera, Stevie does it. And would you believe it, I am very good in the back of here. I think I'm only a good boy with plasters. I normally have a wee plaster lying about somewhere. There's a wee strop I have. What does it say? You know I haven't? Well, there you go. That'll really teach me. So let's see how this is going now. We're nearly done, folks. Don't panic. I'm nearly there now. I just wanted to put a wee better edge in this before I put it away in the box. I don't like putting a knife away. So, oh. No, I need a bit more. I need a little bit of tissue, excuse me. Now, I believe I've done that in camera. Well, I do believe I've done that in camera because I'm a knife person. I always get cuts. And if a wee cut would upset you, you're in the wrong game. I've cut myself in ages too, I don't know if you use the same. Sometimes you go through a wee run where you just constantly cut yourself, and then I can't remember, it's ages since I cut myself. And the last couple of strokes, lovely and easy, and I'm just raising the point up to see if I can get that wee tiny bevel. Now, this will be perfect and the video will be over. How's that? That's not a bad edge. That's a pretty good edge. That'll do lovely. That can go in the box. It's just a little knife that's sharp enough for anything I'll ever need it to do. But I will take it to the strop afterwards. I just don't want you to sit about while I'm doing that. I have the little strop there. And it's one of them wee foldable knives. I just keep in there in case I would need it. But I've noticed that it's coming undone, which is not good. But it'll do in there just as a wee, just in case I would ever need it. I can't think what I'd need it for, but I'm just one of them sort of people. No, in fact, I'm not going to put it in there. And then there's my little strop. All it is just a belt, and I cut a bit off of it, bit of paste on there, and that does me the strop. So I'll leave the mess on the table. That's my little sharpening system I can take out, and I don't need anything else to get my knife sharp. This is going to be my beater knife now, so you'll see it. And if you have any challenges you want this knife to do, please let me know and I will do them. There's very few that I won't do with it. I mean, because it cost me nothing. It was the same with that there. You know, I'll do anything you fancy. Put suggestions down below if you got any suggestions. And God love my wee orange Ganzo. It's being retired and it's going in the box and just used as a normal EDC knife. It's back in the rotation again. I just love it. I can't believe that knife survived a whole year. And honestly, it still looks and feels as if it's just come out of the box. So if you haven't got one of these, go and get one on GearBest. That's where I got mine. I have no affiliation with them, but that's it. I think there is other ones that do it, but GearBest's where I got mine. It takes a long time to come, but sure, it's $8-9. Normally $8 or $9 at the minute, and they're just an absolutely amazing little knife. So there we go. That's my sharpening video done. Thank you very much, folks, for watching. I'm sorry it didn't come out perfect, but that's life. That's what these videos are like. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Paddy's away for a cup of tea. Bye now.